Framer versus Squarespace. If you pick the wrong tool here, in a year from now, you're gonna be kicking yourself because you're gonna have to start your entire site build over and you're gonna waste a year with a site that isn't performing. Look, I have helped launch and build over 300 websites, and between these two platforms, I have a lot of experience. And I'm gonna give you the clear answer for your situation. Because what nobody is telling you when you watch comparison videos like this is the decision actually comes down to one fundamental question, and it has nothing to do with price. Now, before we dive in, I have a full table that I built comparing both tools that you could see in the link down below, as well as if you do decide to get started with either tool, I do have links for you. Get a free month off your annual plan when you sign up with Framer with the link down below. And yes, this video is sponsored by Framer, but all the opinions in this video are mine, and as you're gonna see, I am very honest. I am gonna tell you where both platforms shine and where they don't. Let's go. Here's how we're gonna do this. I have 3 questions that are going to cut through all the noise and give you a real answer by the end of this video. We're gonna move through the first 2 pretty quickly because if you fall on either side with the first 2 questions, you're gonna know your answer right away. But the third one, this is where it really gets interesting, and this is where the majority of the video is gonna fall. So let's start with question number 1. The first question is, when you compare apples to apples, the core things that a modern website needs, like SEO, speed, CMSs, animation, flexibility, which one actually delivers? Let's start with the CMS, which is a content management system. Think about blog posts, portfolios, product pages, any content that you're managing and publishing on a regular basis with a similar structure. When it comes to Squarespace, they are gonna give you a handful of pre-built options. You're gonna get the option for a blog, portfolio, calendar, events calendar, and a video page. You could count e-commerce, but we're gonna talk about that in another point. With Squarespace, that's basically it, those 5. And then you need to work within what they give you, and you don't really get to build outside of that. That means if you wanna create some type of custom content management system, you won't be able to do it. With Framer, you get the ability to create any type of CMS that you want with as many fields as you like. There's probably some upper limit of the amount of fields you could have, but the variations of fields, from galleries to photos to rich text to titles to a lot more, there are a ton of different fields, and you could build a CMS that is exactly to your needs, structured the way your business actually works. In my opinion, in today's world, Framer is the obvious winner. You could even link that CMS to a Google Sheet, to a Notion database, and a lot more. Now, let me say, if you are trying to grow online, this is critical, because if you're gonna do anything beyond blogging, you're gonna want the ability to manage and control your content management system. Whether that's with testimonials, your projects, anything where you need to build a systematic and structured collection of information where every item shares the same key pieces of information. You could think of name, photo, review. This is a no-brainer. Next up, and we're gonna talk a lot about this one, is animations. Animations are what make a modern site feel modern. Beyond the right colors, I think this matters more than most people realize. This is really gonna help you choose the right platform. Squarespace is thinking about adding animations, and they're trying, but they're honestly just playing catch up at this point. Framer has been doing this since the beginning, and they actually have something called Framer Motion. It's their own style and system of code for animations. And Framer Motion, now known as just Motion, is sponsored by Framer and Cursor. These are the leading brands in development right now in the world. And getting back to the core story here, it's not about having the most animations, but it's how your website feels. It's the same thing when you walk into a hotel or a restaurant. There is a major difference in how an upscale restaurant or hotel feels versus a motel or a fast food chain. If you want your website to actually feel like something, not just look like something, Framer again is the obvious choice. And it really doesn't even come close. defaults. Squarespace comes with 5 preset defaults for your entire website. You can't customize it at all. And yes, they are trying to add it, but it's a little bit too limited in my opinion versus Framer, where you could build the right animations for the right feel for your entire site. And all of it without writing a single line of code. Next, let's talk about e-commerce. We do need to get into this. This one goes to Squarespace, no question. If you're selling physical products, managing inventory, shipping orders through your website, Squarespace has it built in and it is gonna work. Framer, as of the filming of this video, does not have a native solution. And yes, there are third-party workarounds, and I do have other videos on my channel about that, but this is not a seamless process. Now, let me be very clear. If you are selling digital products or courses, that's a little bit different. When I talk about e-commerce, if you are shipping a physical product to a customer, this is where Squarespace is gonna win. You have the full experience with cart, checkout, and everything you need with shipping and taxes built in. Is it perfect? No, but it definitely is way further. Now, the second major question is gonna be around pricing. What are you really paying and what are you getting for what you're paying? This really comes down to value. Now, I'm gonna highlight this because this is gonna give you the thinking model from the beginning at a high level. We are gonna get into the specifics of pricing at the end of this video, but this is how I would think about it. The average website owner is probably gonna be spending anywhere between $200 to $350 a year on Squarespace. On Framer, you're probably looking at $300 to $800 depending on your needs. So if affordability and your budget is one of the first filters before anything else, that is worth knowing up front. But you could easily start spending a few $100s more on Framer once you add in 1 or 2 other team members to access the backend of your website to be able to edit it. So a quick scorecard. Framer takes CMS and animations, and Squarespace takes e-commerce and pricing. Right now, it's 2 to 2. And this leads us to the third question, which I think is the most important framework of how to think about deciding between these two platforms. This is how you're gonna decide. Can you get the website you actually want? And if so, how hard is it to actually get there? Look, if I could snap my fingers right now and give you a website that you wanted, no learning curve, no setup, just the result, I would put you on Framer every single time. And this is coming from someone who spent nearly a decade building websites almost exclusively on Squarespace. I've made a lot of money and I've helped my clients make a lot of money on the platform. Here's the difference. Squarespace is just that. It's a box. It is a really well-designed box. You build inside a grid, inside sections, inside a structure that is already decided for you. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. It's really hard to make a Squarespace website look terrible. The guardrails are there for a reason. Most people who are DIYers don't know how to build websites. They may have seen beautiful sites, but knowing how to fundamentally build a beautiful website from scratch is really hard. It's a lot of work. And Squarespace does most of the heavy lifting. But those same guardrails are the ones that cap you. Inside Squarespace, you get the option for up to 4 or 5 heading styles. In Framer, you could build anything you want. So when it comes to Squarespace, my answer is this. If you want something clean and professional without a learning curve, there's probably a bit of a learning curve, but with the smallest learning curve, you're gonna wanna use Squarespace. Alternatively, when you take a look at Framer, Framer is not a box, it's a canvas. There is no grid forcing your hand. You get to look at desktop, tablet, and mobile all on the same screen. You could hide elements on a specific device, adjust layouts independently, build interactions and animations that actually make sense for your site. And that means there is literally no ceiling. But the catch is the freedom does come with a bit of a learning curve. If you have never built a website before and you jump into Framer cold, you're probably looking at 8 to 12 hours invested just to get your footing. Now, compared to other tools that offer you this much freedom, this actually is a smaller learning curve, but it's something that you do have to make a decision on. And maybe if you are building your first website, you may consider using a template. Heck, even I used a template for davidalex.com. Not because of a limitation, but because it was basically what I wanted, and I just customized it further to my liking. And it's also worth saying there are a ton of free resources, components, templates, so much that can get you started and running really fast, where you might not actually need 8 to 12 hours, but it is worth mentioning that there are gonna be things, if you have never built a website before, that you're gonna need to learn. Overall, Framer gives you the ability to build whatever you need. Let me give you a few examples from my own website. On my own site, I have about 8 different CMSs. One is for articles, one is for products, one is for services, and one I'm particularly proud of is called My Stack. Basically, it is a living page of every software tool I use, organized by category, all linked to my affiliate partners. This is something I can never build and make as functional and as beautiful on Squarespace, and it allows me to have a side of my website that is really relevant and unique to my use case. And we have not even gotten into components and other elements that Framer offers in making your site build experience wonderful. Just take a look at my navigation. This is completely custom and it's completely different for desktop and mobile. It's beautiful. So when I say Framer wins on design flexibility, I'm not just talking about how it looks. I'm talking about what it can actually become for your business. In today's world where you could vibe code a website in just a matter of minutes, it doesn't matter if your website looks modern, what matters is how it feels. The reason you would choose Squarespace isn't because it's better, it's because you need something up fast and you don't want to invest the time into learning a new tool. And if your business doesn't equal revenue, Squarespace is a great option to get a site up and running and just have it be there as a great business card. There are a lot of businesses and use cases where that is extremely valid. But if you are building something you actually want to be proud of, something that feels like your brand, not just a website, Framer is where you're gonna wanna be. And look, a year from now, you wanna be excited about where you started and not feel limited. Which this takes us right into our next section, which is talking about pricing. I'm gonna pull up the pricing here on my screen so you can see exactly what we're talking about. With Framer, you're looking at the basic plan starting at just $10 a month when you pay annually. Now, this is a great starting point for a lot of very basic websites that are gonna give you all the power of Framer to have a beautiful website. Now, most businesses are gonna probably need to upgrade to the next plan if they plan to use more than one CMS. If they are gonna have a CMS for their blog and for their team and possibly more, they're gonna need to use the Pro plan. This starts at $30 per month. But where it gets interesting is that you are paying per user. And that's why earlier in the video, I told you that this is probably gonna cost you anywhere between $400 to $800 a year. Because the minute you add in 1 or 2 other people from your team, you are now gonna be paying $30 a month for your website, plus an additional $40 a month for each additional person who has back-end access. Now you are paying $110 a month for your website, which, if we're honest, websites do a lot of work. They stay up 24/7. They're your always on employee. They never complain. They never take a sick day. And so they do a lot of work, and it is worth it. But if you are price conscious, this is gonna be really important to know. Now, when it comes to our comparison, Squarespace is gonna feel a lot cheaper. Their core plan starts at $23 a month when you pay annually, so you are only paying about $250 to $300 a year. And for less than $300 a year, you could add in as many contributors, as many users as you want on the back end. What I'll say is this: anyone who I have built a site for on Framer, they really haven't complained about the pricing of the per user setup. It does make them more aware of who's on the site and if they need to be there year round. but it's never made anyone question if they should continue using Framer. And personally, the way I like to think about this is not on how much it costs, but how much value it provides. And Framer is gonna give you a return on a completely different level. And that's really what this whole video comes down to, right? So here's where I land. If you are a complete beginner and you just need a website up and you need it now, you're just launching a business, you don't know how it's gonna do, you're probably gonna change your services around, Squarespace is going to get you there and get you there fast. Plus, if you're selling physical products and e-commerce or you've never built a website before, Squarespace. If you're looking for the most affordable, budget-friendly plan, Squarespace. But in a world where there are more and more websites being dropped every single day and you want to be able to stand out and you want your website to feel premium and it's going to give your brand a real identity, something that you can grow and be flexible with, Framer is the move. Whether you're a designer, an agency, a business, for anyone who wants their site to be an experience, not just a page on the internet, Framer is going to give you a vast head start on 99% of websites out there. Plus, with free templates, components, and resources online for you to get started, you're going to be able to find solutions quickly and easily and get the site that you want up. As someone who's built my site on both platforms, as of today, I choose Framer. And since I did that 2.5 years ago, I haven't looked back. If you want to get started with Framer, click that first link down below in the description. When you sign up with the annual plan, you're going to get an extra discount through my link, so definitely take advantage of that. If you have any questions either about the platform, drop them in the comments below. And if you want more videos like this, definitely consider subscribing. And if you do want to get started with either platform, I do have intro videos for both that you can take a look at right now. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.